This is for Lesson 24, Algebra 1 on long division of polynomials. Now, I don't have your book with me, so I just made up some simple problems right here, but this should help you get started. Okay, what you're going to do here is to get started is you're going to only look at these first terms. And just like when you divide normal polynomials, like if you had something like this, when you ask yourself, what times 3 gives you 12, which is obviously 4, okay? That's what you're going to do here. You're going to say, what times x gives you x squared? And we all know that's x, because x times x is x squared. And then there is a 3 here, so you don't want to ignore it. X times 3x is 3x. In fact, it's a positive 3x. Okay. Then you subtract, but you don't just subtract this first term, you subtract the second term. Okay, so you got to make sure basically that you're changing all your signs. Then add up and down. This first term should cancel. Look, x squared minus x squared, it's gone. Negative 3x minus 3x is negative 6x, and then bring down your next term. Okay, now once you're ready, you look just at these first terms to get started. You say, what times x gives you negative 6x? And you'd be like, oh, negative 6. Because look, what's negative 6 times x? Negative 6x. What's negative 6 times a positive 3? Negative 18. And at this point, this is the number one place for error. Change your signs of everything on that second one. Add up and down, and notice everything cancels. So I have a remainder of 0. What this tells you is that x minus 6 times x plus 3 would give you this polynomial. Just like over here, 4 times 3 gives you 12. This is what you're telling you, x minus 6 times x plus 3. Remember when you've been factoring, FOILing all this out? That would give you this big polynomial right here, exactly. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, I'm only going to look at this first term to get started, and I'm going to ask myself, what times x would give me this? And I'd be like 2x, because 2x times x gives me 2x squared. And then move on. What's 2x times a negative 3? Negative 6x. And then change your signs. So you've got a negative 6x plus 6x, hopefully I said that right, is negative x plus 3. Okay, now to figure out what you're going to put up here, remember you only look at this first term just for a minute. So you're what times x gives you a negative x. And you would say negative 1, because negative 1 times x is negative x. And negative 1 times a negative 3 is a positive 3. And then you're going to change your signs. If this one's negative, it now becomes positive. This one's positive, it now becomes negative. And when you add straight up and down, it just so happens that everything cancels out. So I would have a remainder of 0. So this right here is your answer. Okay. Now let's try one that probably won't come out so pretty. Okay. Long division again. Okay. X times x is x squared. X times 5 is 5x. And then change your signs. These are going to cancel. 10x minus 5x is 5x, and bring down your next term. Okay, what times x gives you 5x? Well, 5. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 5 is 25. Change your signs. Oh, good. I'm not going to have a remainder of 0. These cancels, but what's 18 minus 25 but a negative 7? So that's my remainder. The way you write the remainder is, I always add on my remainder, okay? And my remainder is a negative 7, and you write it over the divisor, which is x plus 5. So that's how you write it if there's a remainder. Let's try another one. What if it's written like this? Okay, we're doing long division, so you're going to put the second one out here on the outside. So set it up right, so it looks just like that, and then just get started. Okay, x times x is x squared. X times negative 1 is negative x. Change your signs. Negative 7x plus 1x is negative 6x, and bring down your next term. Write it straight down. Okay, negative 6 times x is negative 6x. You're only trying to get this first term to cancel. Negative 6 times a negative 1, positive 6. What do you do now? Change your signs. So I'm changing those little signs. 10 minus 6 is 4. That's your remainder. There's nothing else to bring down, so that's my remainder. So I just add on my remainder. It's a remainder of 4 over the divisor, which is x minus 1. Okay, what if they're a little bit longer like this? No big deal. First of all, notice so far I've had all my terms. I've had an x to the second, x to the first, no x's. You could say that's an x to the 0 if you wanted. So I do have all my terms. It's an x to the third, x to the second, x to the first, no x's, so we're good to go. we're going to do it just like we've always been doing it. This, whatever you're dividing by goes out front. Let me fix that right there. Okay, doing it just the same way. I'm not sure if you even have any this difficult in your book, but you will see them in your life probably at some time. What times x gives you x to the third? X to the second. Remember, x to the second times x is x to the third. X to the second times 2 is 2x squared. Nothing's changed. You still just change the signs. 7x squared minus 2x squared is 5x squared. And then bring down your next term. Okay, let's see. I'm looking at my first two terms, and that's it. And it looks like I need to multiply by a 5x, because 5x times x is what gives me 5x squared. 5x times 2 is a positive 10x. And then change your signs. 14x minus 10x is 4x. Look, I still need to bring down a positive 3. And really what I think is pretty key, and I am looking through my phone, so this isn't the neatest thing, but notice I've been lining things up pretty neat. Neatness does count here. Okay, so what times x would give me 4x of 4? Everybody see that? 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 2 is 8. And then don't forget, you got to change the signs. 3 minus 8 is a negative 5. There's nothing else to bring down, so that's my remainder. You could write minus like this. You could write minus 5 all over the divisor. That would be fine too. Okay, since my remainder is a negative, I could write it like that. That's perfectly fine. Or I always tell people, I just add on my remainder, and my remainder is a negative 5. Just watch your signs. Either one is perfectly fine. Okay, but you must write your remainders like that. I don't want to see any like r negative 5. Okay, the only other one I'm going to do real quick is this one. Notice my x to the first is missing. So when I get ready to do this, this is what I tell people, and I'm not sure you'll have any like this in your book, but I don't, like I said, I don't have your book for some reason with me. I tell everybody, put in a placeholder. Put in 0 when you haven't changed anything. So notice there's my x to the second. There was no x to the first, so I just put in a little placeholder or a 0. And then there's my minus 28. So you could do it that way. Okay, and then just get started. X times x is x squared. X times negative 5 is negative 5x. And notice now like terms line up. Had I not put him there, I would have this 28 over this guy, and then I wouldn't have like terms. So that's why you do it. Change your signs. Okay, and that gives me 5x minus 28. And then let's see. I'm going to add on a 5 because why? 5 times x is what gives me 5x. 5 times negative 5 is a negative 25. Then I'm going to change my signs, which gives me a remainder of a negative 3. So I could add on my remainder of negative 3 over, what's my divisor? X minus 5. And that ugliness is my answer. Enjoy.